I feel like after listening to Kim, I need to tell like interesting story. But the true story is that I started my network marketing career with a company called Darwin, which Kim was also with.
Yeah, short.
Very short career.
But not enough to recruit Stig.
Okay. So I was studying. I was a student, and my sponsor Charles, who was also with Quorum with Kim, he started working with this company called Darwin. It's a German company selling. They had this. What can we call it? It's like like you have this card, membership club.
Yeah.
So you have like different memberships, and you get all kind of benefits.
Like Lioness or something.
Yeah, like Lioness. So I didn't want to work with network marketing at all. I was a communist growing up. I was a socialist basically. I was protesting, and I was
Against
working.
all the capitalists.
Yeah, I was like all against all the capitalists, and I was like really one of those people.
Young people often are like this.
Exactly.
That's
I was one of those people.
I was a rebel too.
Yeah. So I didn't believe in
You are
like
an Anna.
earning a lot of money and capitalism and investing and all that. This was all the devil's work. But my friend Charles, my best friend Charles, he was very into network marketing and so on, and I condemned him and so on. And then he introduced me to this company called Darwin. And what happened was that in the student house that I was living in, the guy who was living with me in the house, the student house, he was always asking me about this Darwin thing. Right?
How's it going? And,
how's it going and so on, and he was very interested in it. So I called my sponsor Charles and asked him, why don't you come over, and this guy's just bothering me, so he's talking about all kind of stuff, so why don't you just talk to him about this network marketing thing that I'm not interested, but you talk to him, right? But it was a binary system. So I was already registered just to support Charles. So Charles comes over, he travels 4 hours and introduced the business to my friend, and he says, okay, I want to join your business. And he buys the top package, the 15 years, is it?
I don't remember.
15 years package. And what happened? So funny. Money is always great, right? Doesn't matter how socialist you are.
It was?
No money, no funny.
Exactly.
No money, no money.
So I was already registered, he was registered under me, so I get this bonus check, right? Which was big money for a student.
But you need to give it back to them because you're a socialist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to give it back.
You didn't?
No, because then I suddenly discovered that I was not a socialist after
Yeah,
all.
exactly.
Capitalist.
And then I met Manfred, Manfred Wunderling. Remember, he was like the top distributor of Darwin. He was like a top network marketer. He was a millionaire, and I met him, and he saw me, and he said, "What's your dream?" And I said, "I want to build schools all around the world for poor children." And he said, "So what is your plan to do that?" And I said, "I'm going to work with the government, to get support." And he said, "How is that working out for you?" I said, "Not very good." They said, "Why don't you become a network marketer, professional network marketer, learn the skills and become a business person and network, and you talk really well and you look good, so why don't you just do it?" That's what he said. Directly, that's what he said. Probably says that to everyone. Right?
Now you look.
No, Arshad.
No, thank you. He says that to everyone. And then I said, "So I can earn my own money, I can build my own schools?" He said, "Yes, you can." Okay, I like that. So that's how I got into network marketing, and I built a team with Sarah and David, who are like soaring and senior managers today. They're and I had a big organization, or big for me, for around 1,000 people in that organization. I was doing well, but then my upline and my sponsor came up with and said that they're going to quit in this company. They want to work with another company called a Norwegian company. And I was really confused because it was I think they were plotting the same plan as you did with so I followed them and I joined that company, and that company just basically took off because we built around 60,000 customers in 6 months. Just 60,000 customers in Norway in 6 months.
Wow, that is fast.
And I got paid like 300 euros.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Only this?
It's binary system.
Yeah. No, I had good balance.
Huh?
I had good balance. They couldn't pay. You know? And then we found out that the owner of the company was taking the money and paying out his debts. Not paying us. Right? He was waiting for the next round of recruits to come in to pay us back a little bit actually. So they said they will pay in 1 week, and then 1 week became 1 month, and 1 month
What
became
was the name of that one?
Global Consumer Group.
Do you know?
You heard of them? Forbrukerfellesskapet på norsk. So we were selling like telephone deals and
How did you end up in Forever then?
so what happened was this just to
This
build
is
up
where you-
this. So I had like basically like kept my school off. You know, I had taken loans. So I had like more than 100,000 euros in loans that I have taken off to build my business because I had a big organization with that company, and I was working 24/7, standing on stands, and I'm an introvert. Right, so I was like really going into the zone and just recruiting. So I had recruited a lot of people all the time outside. I was probably the person who recruited most in that time.
And the fee of entry, how much is?
Maybe around 600 euros, 700 euros. And nothing, right? I didn't get paid anything. And then all of a sudden, my Upland sponsor, Stig, same Upland sponsor I have today, they said that this company doesn't work. But they're going to start with another company called Forever. So you can imagine the skepticism
Yeah.
I had.
Yeah.
I was so skeptic because I was like really in debt, and I was flunking on all my studies.
You were skeptical, but you didn't have any choice.
No, but listen, I was flunking on all my studies, and it was really.
Remember you come to Gothenburg at the Profession Rally?
Yes, I didn't come there.
No, that was
Charles
was
came there.
You were not there yet.
So the same guys come back to me, and they always told me, because the companies that we worked with before didn't have any products. So they always told me that any company that has products is not good. Because you just fill up the garage. Stig and Charles told me that. My sponsor, it's not good. It's like you just shake those people and soap comes out of their mouth. You know, that's what they told me. So you can imagine the same guys come back to me and say that let's start with a company with products, with aloe vera and all that. I was
Creams and everything.
I was so skeptical and I was so angry, you know, and I was in debt, and my parents were really worried about me and so on.
yes.
And I had to like take extra night courses because I missed out so much on my studies to become a teacher that I had to like take a lot of stuff again, and I had to pay everything by myself. So I was working as a nurse part-time, you know, like 50% I was working as a nurse nighttime. So if you work 50% nighttime in Norway, you get 100% paid. But it's really tough because you're working from like 7, 8 at night until 5, 6 in the morning, and then you go to school. And after that you sleep. And then you go back to school again. That's what I was doing. So this is a time when Charles came to me and said that let's start with this company. And I joined basically just to support him because he's my friend. I always believed in him as a person, but I didn't believe in his. I didn't believe that he had the best business skills or knows for business. But I joined and I started using the products, and I actually fell in love with the products. And I was having a course in marketing, like I said, and then I did a 6 week analysis of Forever, and then I went full time. So 15th of May 2003 I went full time, and I've been living off Forever. I made manager on the 30th of June, same month. So 6 weeks later I made manager, that I've been having forever since full-time income, as full-time income. And
6 weeks.
when I made manager, Kim came to my house. Remember Kim?
And Ulf.
And Ulf. And Øystein. Kim, Ulf and Øystein. And Kim was a bit bigger than what it is today.
134.
Yeah. And I was living in an apartment which is less like 40 square meters
Yeah.
apartment. Less 38 square meters apartment in Oslo. And Kim came and I kept, the only thing I had was like a bowl of chocolates and he ate everything
Yep, probably.
like that. But one thing he said to me, he said that Arshad, in the same ratio as your personality or your same as ratio as you grow as a person, so does your bank account. Remember that? He
That
said,
is so true.
Yeah.
Same ratio?
as you grow as a person,
Yes.
so does your bank account.
Yes.
It's never the other way around.
Yes.
And I never forget that.
So true.
It's so true.
Since
Yeah.
that day, Asha, you've
Yeah.
been, and I tell everyone, you have been the most sympathetic leader
Yes.
we
Thank
have
you.
in Scandinavia.
And see what,
That I know about.
what you have changed because
You are
the
big,
first
big,
time I
big
see
man.
you, well, I saw you, just a
Everyone
young
knows
guy,
that.
but looking like a pretty old man.
Yeah.
So how you have changed Arshad.
Yeah.
And Arshad is the same age like my son, my oldest child. So I'm in love
That's why we have to run
with
so
this
far. That's why it's so
guy,
skinny.
really. And he is my second. No, because my second son is Washwa in Uganda.
Yeah.
You are my third son.
I'll take it.
You are my third son.
Thank you.
And I really love you, Arshad.
Thank you so much. I love you too.
Oh,
God
you
bless
are-
you how you have changed.
Thank you.
Because you was a very fat and lazy
Yes.
young man.
Yes, I was.
No way.
Yeah, I was like 40 kilos heavier
And
than
just-
what I was today.
Going around,
I have.
you take yourself serious and then you got success.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
He has-
Very inspiring.
He has
Very
got
inspiring.
a transformation,
Just you what?
physically
It's amazing.
and mentally.
But I want to tell you one quick story with my story.
Yes.
Because the reason I went 6 weeks manager was that my sponsor Charles called me up and said that this man from Denmark
yeah.
is coming to Kristiansand and you need to be there. And I was living 4 hours from Kristiansand and I had just ruptured my ribs.
And that hurts.
Yeah. And I didn't have a car. I had all the excuses in the world, right? But my sponsor said, I will pay for your trip, but he still haven't paid for my trip, by the way. So I had to
Me,
borrow.
Charles.
No.
Charles.
Okay.
I'll tell him when I see him in Toronto next time.
So I get a car from somewhere and I come to Kristiansand and I come a little late. So I sit all the way back and Kim starts talking and I don't understand Danish. Danish and Norwegian are quite alike actually. If you
They sound like, but they're different languages.
well,
Many different words.
many different words, but we understand each other. But I didn't understand Danish at all at that time. And Kim was talking, and I decided to walk out of the room, and go back. And this was not for me in the break. But Charles grabbed me and said, Arshad, I want you to say hi to Kim. And Kim spoke English with me, right? And he just told his story to me, just really quickly. And that captured me, so I stayed back. And it's so interesting, but in that session, the second session, I miraculously understood Danish.
We talk about money in the second session. Products the first session, money the second session.
I miraculously understood Danish. And then on the way back, I got all these ideas, And 6 weeks later, I was a manager.
Rest is history.
Very,
Rest is
very
history.
inspiring. Thank you for sharing.